we will begin the stories of the Hurban with a story in the Gemara. Although when you learn the Gemara, it's not in the exact order, we will begin with it because I believe it's an important introduction. The Gemara brings really three stories that happen in a place called Kefar Semachia Shel Mitzrayim. And the Gemara asks, it says that there was a few rabbis sitting down and they all said, do you ever heard anything about this village, Kefar Semachia Shel Mitzrayim? Because it was destroyed. And we want to know, how come it was destroyed? So, three stories are told. The first, the Gemara says, and one the rabbi says, about an arus and arusa. Let me just explain very quickly what an arus and arusa is. In the times of the Gemara, when they would get married, what we today have as a chuppah and a wedding was divided actually in two parts in times of the Gemara. When the hatan gives the ring to the kalan, he says, Harei at mekudeshet li, that's called irusin. If you notice the beracha that the rabbi makes over there is the irusin. In times of the Gemara, when a person is getting engaged, it's not like the way we call engagement. What we call engagement nowadays is only an agreement to get married. In their days, engaged means real reservations. It's like a deposit. A person does the irusin, he says, Harei at mekudeshet li. And according to halakha, it has much more significance than just a regular engagement. The woman becomes somewhat of an eshet ish. So the Gemara says that there was once an arus and an arusa. They already had the kiddushin, but they didn't have the nisuin, which is the 7 berachot that we say later on. And what happened is they were taken to captivity by the goyim, and the goyim put them together. And when the goyim put them together, the woman told them, listen, we're still not married according to halakha. According to halakha, we have to be married, nisuin and a ketubah. I don't have a ketubah for you, so please make sure that we're not together. The Gemara says that he didn't touch her. For all the life that they put them together, they were forced to live together. This man controlled himself and he never touched this arusa of his. Even though technically he could have justified, the Yetzer Hara could have played with his mind and justified to do anything, still he was able to control himself. And when he passed away, this woman got in touch with the Jewish rabbis and she told them, you have to mourn this man. This man was a great man. Yosef, we know he was great. He controlled himself against the woman of Eshet Potiphar. The wife of Potiphar controlled himself for a whole year. This man controlled himself every single day of his lifetime. And over there, Yosef knew it was wrong. It was a wife of another man. Over here, he could have justified himself. He could have said, it's really my wife or wife-to-be. And he was still able to control himself. Therefore, mourn this person. Another rabbi says now another story, a second story. And the story is, it says that there was a time when 40 se'ah is a certain measurement. It's not like pounds, it's much more than pounds, but it's a measurement, was sold for 1 dinar. 40 se'ah of produce was sold for 1 dinar. That means you pay a dinar, you get 40 se'ah. One time, the price changed. Not that the people changed it, but there was a problem. The prices went up. The price went that now you can't buy 40 se'ah and 1 dinar, you can only buy 39. So now the produce became more expensive. And the people of the town got together and they researched, they said, how could it be? If the price changed and, Hashem is making it happen such a way, it must be somebody sinned. And after examination and research, they found out that there was a father and son that committed a bad avirah. They slept with a na'ara me'orasa, with a girl who was arusa. And therefore, when they find this out, they took their father and son and they executed them. And after they got rid of the evil amongst the town, the Gemara says the prices went back to being like it was, 40 se'ah for 1 dinar. And that was the second story which shows the righteousness of these people. The third story the Gemara says, there's once a man who was married from this place, from the Kfar Sechani of Mitzrayim, and he wanted to divorce his wife. But when he looked, when the halakha says when a person wants to divorce his wife, he has to pay the ketubah, and the ketubah is a contract. It says in case of divorce or death, then a person has to pay whatever amount it says in the ketubah. And it seems that the person in his ketubah put a lot of money. And he wanted to divorce, but he didn't know what to do. He came to his friend and told him, I would like to get rid of my wife, but it's too expensive for me. What should I do? So his friend gave him an idea. A wicked idea, but he gave him an idea. He told him, there's a halacha that if a woman cheats on her husband, so it's a breach of contract. The husband divorces her and he doesn't have to pay her the ketubah. Why should he pay for the ketubah? She didn't keep what it says in the contract. She wasn't faithful. She says, okay, what does that mean? He says, okay, frame your wife that she went with another man, and this way you will be exempt from paying the ketubah. Man loved the idea. So what did he do? He gathered his friends around one night and he got them all drunk. Maybe he filled up his cup with water, he filled up their cups with arak or vodka, and everyone was drinking, they all got drunk. Then he took one of his friends and he undressed him and he threw him on the bed where his wife was sleeping already. In the olden days, it seems from the Gemarot that they didn't have pajamas and they slept without any clothing when they went to sleep. So when he slept on the bed, he took an egg, he cracked it open, a raw egg, and he took the egg white, when it's still raw, and he threw it on the bed to make it appear that there was a sinful act that was committed. Now, afterwards he found two people in the street, random people, Jews, and he told them, I need witnesses, quick, come. They come in, and they see that, he said, that's my wife, and that's one of my friends. You will believe what he did to me? And look, here's the evidence. Look at this thing, the stain on the sheets. And this case comes up in front of court, and the man claims that his wife was unfaithful, even though she denies it, he claims he was unfaithful, and therefore he should be exempt from paying the ketubah, and he has to divorce her. So the Gemara says that the Beit Din was about to rule, the Jewish court was about to rule in favor of the man. However, there was an elderly judge sitting there. He was residing in the court, and he was one of the students of Shammai, from Hillel and Shammai. So he was one of those students, and he said, one second, I have a tradition that there's a way to check if the stain on the sheets is really an egg white or came from a person. And after they examined and they checked, they saw that it was really an egg white. They realized what this person did. He was trying to set up his wife, and they took this person and they gave him lashes for trying to do this wicked idea. Now, these are the three stories that the rabbis share with each other. So after sharing these stories, the rabbis turn to each other and they say, I don't understand. If they were so righteous, in all the three stories we saw how righteous the people who lived in the city were, how come their place got destroyed? How come their city got destroyed and all the people got killed? So the Gemara says, true, they were righteous. But they did not mourn Yerushalayim when it got destroyed. When Jerusalem was being destroyed, they lived their lives normally and didn't realize the importance of Yerushalayim. How important Hashem holds over Yerushalayim. And therefore, although they were tzaddikim and they were righteous, but they should have mourned on Yerushalayim. The Gemara says over there that those, in the quote of Pasuk, those who mourn Yerushalayim will see its rejoicement. And this is a very important introduction to all the stories that we're going to say from the Gemara about the destruction of Beit HaMikdash. Although it may have happened a long time ago, and although it may have happened in a far place from here, and although we don't know about it, but we have to understand how important Yerushalayim is in the eyes of God. On a simple level, we may not understand it so much. But if you look at the books and the Sfarim, the Zohar and the Kabbalists, and even the Gemara, how it talks about the praise of Eretz Israel, and especially Yerushalayim, it's the home of the Shekhinah, it's the home of the Beit HaMikdash. Yerushalayim is very dear to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And in the halachot that we spoke about the 3 weeks, we mentioned about Tisha, about the concept called Tikkun Hatzot, where the Hazal say that every night at midnight, God sits and weeps and cries over the destruction of Beit HaMikdash and of Yerushalayim. And therefore we have to know that if Yerushalayim is still not built, although we see it populated today, but it's not called built. If we look beyond the Kotel and we still see by Har Bayit, we see the dome, we don't see the Beit HaMikdash, we don't see the 100 Amal, the 200 feet Hechal, we don't see the fire going up to Shamayim, Beit HaMikdash is not built yet, Yerushalayim is still in its destruction, no matter how populated it is. And we still have to mourn that because God is still mourning and waiting for us to try to help in the rebuilding of Yerushalayim. And with that we could go on now and speak about the stories that are mentioned in the Gemara and Masechet Gittin.